you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today. Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
Welcome to Deep Dive, where we dive deep into geocaching topics. Each episode features in-depth discussions and aims to provide a deeper understanding and appreciation of geocaching to inspire listeners to explore new aspects of our great sport. And the man who puts power in power trails, my co-host,
That was a good one.
Memphis Mafia.
I like that.
The man whose power alone puts the power in power trails.
Wow. We're going to go there, huh?
Yeah. Got to. All right. So we got a lot to cover. I've got a few different items that I want to get to, and we're going to get right to it. And while we're doing that, yes, the hashtag power trails tonight for our giveaway. So the giveaway tonight is one of the items from the sunken treasure chest. You can choose any of the following. You can get the set, not like this because I put these together myself, but if you want to do them yourself, you can. But it's the night and day coins from for Cache Fest Memphis. So I've got a set of those to give away. I have the silver bison, which I did a painting of back here for Cache Fest Memphis as well. I've got guitars. I've got one left of the green coin that's not the green coin, but there's only a couple of those in the world because I made them myself, so they're unique, I guess you could say. And the other item for tonight is I do have a couple of these left, so I'll give away one of our That's for Another Show glass. Nice, good, thick glass to use for your beverage of choice. There you go. So tonight, for our giveaway, if you put in hashtag power trails, then later on we will pick a winner using our giveaway tool, which spins the wheel, and it creates a winner. So we don't have to do that. Makes it nice because otherwise we'd use random.org and just makes it easy. So there you go.
I'm surprised you still have any of those glasses left. Those were made years ago.
I know.
Ryan made those what year was that?
Oh gosh.
It was pre-COVID, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. No, yeah.
A long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. But still got a couple. Yeah, he made those right around maybe Geo Woodstock Fort Worth? Question mark? I don't know.
I don't remember.
So, all right. A couple things I want to get to tonight. We have a couple of, and we also have a key to a clue for the key. We're going to give that. We'll do that in a little bit too. I have a couple of events that I want to mention that have been mentioned to us. One is last year they did it. This year they're doing it. They're doing it again this year. The Long Island Geopalooza. Our friends of Goalie. We probably have some Goalie folks along in the chat room. Good friends of ours, the Geocachers of Long Island. And Jamie sent me a note that they have their event is up. It's in the show notes for Long Island Geopalooza GCA 5QX4. And that will be in, like I said, I'll put it in the chat room. But if you want to peruse that later in the show notes, they will be there. You can go check out that event. Also, and again, they did a great job last year. That was their first time having the mega, and just did a great job, and really painstakingly put together a really good time for everybody. Good. Yes, Butterfly Girl. The date of that this year is going to be September 2nd. So I'll also put that in the chat room for folks. Yes. There you go. Yep. Neil Moore mentioned it as well. Thank you. Appreciate everybody helping out. And so that's the first one. The second one I want to mention also just went live, which is down under the Capital Geobash mega event is also out there and available to check out and to make your reservations for. So that will be cool. It's GC9. P is in puzzle. N is in nature. F is in fizzy, and B is in bison. GC9 PNFB. And that is going to be another awesome event.
March 30th, right?
What's that?
Isn't that March 30th next year?
Yes. That one's going to be March 30th of 2024. So it's in ACT, which is Australian Capital Territory. It's going to be in the capital city of Canberra. And so that's going to be cool. First time Omega's ever been held in Canberra, which is, of course, Australia's capital city. So there you go.
Obviously, you should go. It's the first time it's been there, so we should obviously go.
We need to go. We really should.
I mean, just for research purposes, right?
Right. Firing that up. So yes. So worldwide, everybody who listens might want to take a look at that and do some planning. Give you plenty of time ahead of time to get some planning ready to go for that. So there you go. So next is I do want to mention the CacheFest store. That's still available. Items still out there. So let's consider that. If you're coming, you definitely want to try to get up a package for that. A lot of cool swag for that event. So CacheFest Memphis is going to be a lot of fun this year. And that's it. We'll do the vault a little later.
Mm-hmm.
Let's dive into power trails.
Power trails.
Are power trails fun? ? And I asked Chat GC. I think we settled on Chat GC, right? That's the one you liked. Chat GC, our buddy who is behind the artificial intelligence wall, who is a geocaching artificial intelligence bot, who is he's our inside person, giving us the lowdown on what's going on in the AI world. So thank you, ChatGC, for being there for us. So here's what I asked ChatGC the very question: are geocaching power trails fun? And here is the answer it gave us. Geocaching power trails can be a lot of fun for some geocachers, but it really depends on personal preferences and interests. For those who enjoy finding a large number of caches quickly and efficiently, power trails can be a great way to log a lot of finds in a short amount of time. They are also a popular activity for geocachers who are trying to reach a milestone, interesting, or achieve a specific goal. However, for geocachers who prefer more challenging and creative caches, power trails may not be as enjoyable. Power trails typically consist of a large number of caches placed alongside a designated route. While relatively simple hides are predictable containers, with relatively simple hides in predictable containers. This can make the experience less adventurous and exciting for some. Well, that's for sure. Unfortunately, whether or not geocaching power trails are fun is subjective and depends on the individual geocacher's interest and preferences. If you're curious, I suggest trying out a power trail for yourself and see if it's something you enjoy. There you go.
So we may need to stop asking ChatGC because that's like the whole show. I mean,
and that's it. Good night, everybody.
Better every time we talk to him. I mean,
Yeah.
it really is.
He's doing
every
a
time
good
we ask him
job.
a question, that's now granted. I know he's getting that from a lot of different information, right? I say he, she, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We
assume ChatGC is a guy.
It's an it.
They get smarter every time we ask him, whatever he, she, it is. But that's a pretty good summarization of it, though. I think
it's pretty good. Now it brings up some interesting points that I think we'll be able to talk about in the chat, or not in the chat, in the show notes. We have check those out later. They'll be up on the website. We've listed 3 or 4. There's hundreds. I mean,
tons.
There's tons. So I mean, you're not going to make an exhaustive list. If you are, it's going to be pages and pages long. So that wasn't the point. Well, it was just to bring up a couple. So that's the only thing that I want to do. GCD SK11 says home of 5 active power trails, 4 archived ones. Interesting. Yes.
So before we get into anything else, I think we need to define what we're talking about when we say power trails, because some people have never actually experienced them.
True. That's a good question. In fact, I saw something that mentioned what it determines as a power trail. So
what would you say is the minimum number it has to be for a power trail?
Gosh, that's a good question.
Because I've seen some ones that were lower, like a dozen.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll call them mini power trails.
Yeah.
What would you say is a good rule of thumb for like the minimum to be called a power trail?
I think it's got to have,
and not just a run, right?
Yeah. For a true power trail, I'm thinking 25.
I mean,
make it a true power trail.
If you had 20 in a row, would you call it a power trail or just a trail?
I would probably call it
or just a run
trail. Yeah.
Yeah, I think 25 is fair to be called a power trail, right?
25. Yeah, I mean 25 is
now if somebody were to call a power trail one with 20, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, really, anything that is especially for a power trail that is designed to do like really quickly and you're boosting numbers, getting 10 caches right in a row is fast. That's a lot of caches, right?
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it may not be of this in the grand scheme of things like the big ET power trails and stuff, but if you can go out somewhere in the next 30 minutes and get 20 smileys, that's a lot.
It is. And when you look at so Darren says so Friday is something, is a true day. He says he has 20 and a 52, so that's
I would consider those power trails even at 20, right? I guess it's got to have a number of them and then be set up.
Neil says 50
for speed, I would say, is the next factor.
Yeah. I don't think you can call a power trail something that isn't really designed for efficiently geocaching.
Yeah.
So for example, you couldn't call even if you had 12, if you had 20, say, but you're going over a 14er.
Right.
I
No.
I mean,
You
that's
can
not
have a
trail.
hiking power trail, though, I would say.
You could, sure, absolutely. Hiking power trails, kayaking power trails.
Yeah. I've done one of those, a kayaking power trail.
Have you really?
Yeah. In Florida, cool. In fact, not recently, but years ago.
Right. Was that the same time he did the bad man one?
Yeah. No, Ed Watson was a bad man. Yeah.
Ed Watson was a bad man. Yeah.
That was fun. Now, it's not as fast as in a car, right? But it's still, for kayaking, it's still pretty quick that you're getting all these caches.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure.
I think that second factor, though, is the speed at which you're finding the caches.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're not speedboating in a kayak. I mean, kayaks are not.
No, I just meant powered. Like each individual cache is supposed to be like a regular part of the trail. Like it's not a new hide every time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think that
do you think there's any cache type that couldn't be a power trail?
That could not be?
Yeah. Now I know obviously like virtuals would be hard to set one up, right? Because we don't have those free form.
We don't have right.
Webcams can't be put out there anymore, but I'm talking about of the main staples.
Of the main ones. I think multi-caches can be, but I think that you're kind of starting.
There are some of those for sure.
It has to be fairly. I mean, you can't do any kind of 10-stage things. I mean, you got to do.
No, I think it has to be pretty fast, and I think there's other ways to do multis where it's like scanning a barcode, and it's the next stage or whatever.
Yeah.
Because you can overlap. Let me see if I say this right. You can overlap within the same multi, but not within different multis. So you would have to have different stages.
Right.
Even if within the same cache, you can the proximity rule changes. I've seen there's one here. In fact, I haven't done it yet. There's one in Florida that's a power trail of multis. Pretty good.
Oh, cool.
I don't know the name of it, but
right.
And Pizza Ninja brought up Where I Go, which of course there are definitely Where I Go power trails out there.
Yep. Which brings us to something that you mentioned earlier that we probably need to. Well, in Hodag, we went right into where we were going with this.
Next, yeah.
The very question we were going to talk about is, does a GeoArt count?
So here's what I would say. And before we skip off the Where I Go is actually designed very well to be a power trail because
absolutely
I've built these for people before where if you open the Where I Go app, it can give you 10 or 20 of the next caches all in one cartridge. So you can actually make one cartridge for all 20 of them. And it counts. You click on it, it gives you the cartridge. Keep going. So you can do one cartridge and copy it for each one. And I've built those for other people and for myself. And Where I Go actually works pretty good for it. But each one is an individual Where I Go, but it's all the same cartridge.
Oh, wow. So same cartridge, but yet, say, 15.
You can do a lot in there.
Okay.
I know I've done up to 20 in them before.
Wow.
So you can absolutely do that. And it opens up and you just follow along.
So you get credit because they're actually individual
caches. You can use the same cartridge. You load it up.
One cartridge. Yeah. That's kind of cool.
And then, so with the crossover of power trails and GeoArt, I think GeoArt can be a power trail, but it's not necessarily a power trail.
Right.
Yeah. So
a lot of times it is because
it makes a cool picture. And usually, so I would say like a traditional GeoArt is probably not a power trail.
No.
If you're doing traditionals. If you're doing puzzles and it looks like a pretty picture,
right?
And then when you solve them, they're all straight down a line.
Yeah.
It probably could be at that point, right?
Yeah. You're definitely doing a power trail at that point.
Play anywhere Where it goes or puzzles that you solve before you go out there. That's another way to do power trails or GeoArt as well. They're solved before you ever go out there, right? You don't have to solve them in the field.
Right. Neil mentions one that was the first Where I Go. This is the first Where I Go for the Star Wars one. They're Play Anywhere. So yeah, you can do them ahead of time. So that's pretty slick.
Essentially, we're saying it could include GeoArts, depending on how they're solved.
Right.
But a power trail is something that's a multitude of caches that you're intended to solve or find quickly, like in a row, all at one time.
Yes.
And that could be by foot, bike, kayak, or car.
Kayak,
or whatever.
car.
Maybe horse. I don't know. Maybe there's a horse power trail out there. I don't know.
Yeah. Now, are they fun? I want to bring up a couple examples and see. I want to get your opinion whether you think they were fun or not.
Yeah.
One that you were part of, and then I'll tell you about one. You tell me what if you think it would have been fun. So, the one that we did together was a letterbox hybrid, which is interesting because people would say, "Hey, you can't have a letterbox hybrid power trail." It's like, well, you plan it right.
Yeah. I've actually helped hide one of those before too, so that wasn't my first one.
And when you're first, oh wow, yeah, and you're like, yeah, but you gotta have a stamp in every one of them. The dude put a stamp in every one of them.
Every one of them, yeah.
It was a tiny stamp, but there was a stamp in every one of them. We did 135, so nothing outrageous, but it was the most that I've ever done in a day was 135. I know some people
wasn't even a day. We did that in a couple hours.
Yeah, we did that in a couple hours, right?
Yeah.
Do you want me to say whether I think it was fun yet, or do you want?
You go first, and then I'll tell you what I think.
Okay. I had a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. I tell you why I think that power trail was a lot of fun. A couple things. One is that, well, the main reason why that was fun is because a bunch of us did it together.
Yeah,
we were all there for Mega, and we all caravanned down the road. We had a couple different cars behind us. You and Charles and with me, and we would stop, and we would all, by the time I had to stop. You guys jump out. I'd jump out. By the time I race over there, somebody had already found it, but then we would sign it and then we'd move on. Now, once in a while I would get there in time.
Yeah.
And be part of the hunt as well. Once in a while we had some that were harder.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the times, I think you even mentioned this. It could be selective memory, but I thought you told beforehand about where you found the original and a throwdown, and they were like within.
We found one of those on that trail. Yeah,
we were within inches of it, and sure enough, the very thing happened to us on that. And we took a photo of the original and the throwdown, and they're like, you could line them up.
That's how you've seen the same photo.
Oh my gosh, it was hysterical.
That brings up a lot of things in that one thing you've said already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
Anyway, that's just to wrap up my comment on that one. Just the fact that it was fun because we were all together and we were doing it. We were doing it together, and it was crazy. And you guys kept giving me a hard time because I kept I'd drive the 528 feet or whatever, but I'd miss it. And you're like, oh, dang it, Gary, you're too far.
We'd have to ride. Yeah, because you stop so slow and drive so slow. We had to check your pulse to see if you're actually awake.
Yeah. So I'm driving along, and anyway, so there you go.
Here's what I would tell you. So kind of thinking about this, and then because you brought up 2 or 3 things, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think we found like 140 something, right, that day? I don't remember what it was in that.
Yeah, 135, I think, of those.
Okay. So was number 17 or number 25 or number 36 fun? No. But was number 1 through 135 fun? Absolutely. Right? Like as a group, it was a blast that day because we were out there. There was me, you, Charles, and was there somebody else that day too?
Oh, there was a bunch
behind us.
Yeah. Peachy joined us. So
Peachy joined us. I couldn't remember. Yeah.
And then there was a few other people that kind of started caravan. Chad. Yeah. Chad and Stephanie, they were in the car too. We had Roomba Cats was with us as well.
That's right. That's right. We had some people more at one times and less at others.
Yeah. So some people would kind of carry, and we crossed people going because the other thing, the cool thing was it was a mega. So you had people, we crossed paths with people going the opposite direction on the
trail. Into people everywhere.
Yeah, we did. So, it was great.
So there's several things that I would say about this one experience, right? And I've done many others.
Right.
And so were the individual hides anything special? I don't remember any of them being anything special. No. None of those. Like if I only went out there and found like number 21, but I even had a story to tell about that, I don't believe I would have.
No.
Now
other than the fact that the tiny little,
it was a tiny letterbox. Yeah.
The little stick letterbox.
But
that's about it.
Doing that as a group, was that a lot of fun? Man, that was a lot of fun. And that's one of the ones we've talked about 2 or 3 times. And you got a huge number of letterboxes in a small period of time.
Oh, yeah.
It's a whole other thing, right? Does that matter or not? We'll get into that, right? But
yeah. Letterboxes are way up my list is because I've did all those.
That's right. You did all those at one time.
130 of them.
You have to kind of dissect the whole experience. One, you know that they're not going to be unique. So you're not going to really find anything special if you're going on a power run. Generally. Right. Every once in a while you'll find a cool cache, or they'll put one that's special in there or whatever, just to be cool, like the anchor of it or whatever. 2, now this was around a mega, so it's a little different. And we're not making fun of that one, right? Because that one was great. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
However, when you go on a power run, you've got to know that you're going to see throwdowns, because that's just one of the things that people do.
Yeah.
They don't want to waste more than 30 seconds looking for the cache. So they will chunk a throwdown in a heartbeat.
And they'll move on.
Sometimes it's very obvious because you'll see them like 4 feet from each other when you go to find. So you got to know that the originality of the caches are going to be, they're not going to be the best usually. That is not the fault of the owner of that trail. That's how the etiquette of people on the trail. That's just something you're going to have to get over with. And everybody treats those differently. Do you take the throwdown away? What do you do? How do you deal with that? Or you just leave it, sign them both, take pictures of it and laugh later, whatever you want to do on that. But people get bent out of shape about throwdowns. Other people doing throwdowns, not when it's their cache, because obviously you get bent out of shape about that, right? But that's one of those things you're just going to have to go, that's part of power trails. People are going to approach it like that.
Exactly.
Unless they're like bolted to something metal, you're probably going to get the containers switched around. People will pick them up. They'll ET trail them, which is a whole different experience. They'll move them all around. If you're on a power trail with other people, you may come up to the cache and see your name on it because they've dropped it from one of the other ones, which we actually
some other one. Yeah,
we did that. Yeah. And then the other part of it, like we kind of on the coattails of last week. Look, I'll just ask you the question.
Yeah.
You did not touch every one of those caches.
I did not. I went to every one of them.
Were you cheating? You did not sign every one of those logs.
No, but somebody did for me.
Sometimes you didn't get out of the car because me and Charles are racing. But
but I went to every one of them.
You didn't even get out of the car on some of them. And Charles saw some of them, and I did too, like before we stopped. So we would take turns jumping out. Yeah. If this wasn't a power trail, you just went up to a cache and you never got out of the car, would you ever claim that cache?
No, it's different.
That it is different, but
it is different.
Are you okay with that then? Is that considered cheating?
I was okay with it.
Part of power trails.
Yeah, I guess in a sense, here's the thing: is I don't consider that cheating. Some people will.
No, because I just asked you if you did it live on air.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying right. Well, it didn't. I would have told you off air that I don't think it was cheating.
I know. I'm messing with you.
Yeah. I think this is a different. Now I think that if we drove by it and we just sort of waved at it and said, "Oh, look, there's a cache over there," I, in good conscience, could not do that. See, leapfrogging is the one that people.
So we're not going to get into cheating.
We did not leapfrog.
We did not leapfrog. However, that is a very common tactic on power trails.
It is
being one of them, but many power trails.
It is.
How do you feel about leapfrogging?
Yeah, we did.
We
did not leapfrog.
Very much in the camp of
we stopped at everyone.
Some people are very much in the camp of it's part of the team, just like the driver is.
Yeah.
You go all out there together and you do it. Now, leapfrogging, what we mean by that, or at least what I mean by that is like you have a team of 2 cars and you alternate
or something.
Not like you go and you're only 1 car and you just skip every other one.
You're
You
right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
no, not yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that I would not feel comfortable with that.
Yeah,
with the leapfrogging.
I can tell you that I don't care. However,
I know
I don't care. I don't care how anybody plays the game. The only thing I care about is that everybody out there playing to have fun has agreed upon how they want to cache that trail.
Yeah.
And just like I see the driver not getting out and everybody doing one stamp, I see it the same if you have a team doing that and you're all chasing each other down the trails. Because I mean, I view that experience as all one experience. Now, some people like it, some people don't. I don't care.
Yeah,
I think you should all play the game how you want, and we don't have any cache police. Thankfully,
exactly.
We get to have fun with it.
Yeah.
But I would say that I think normal ethics and etiquette totally go out the window on power trails.
I think
you don't cache on a power trail like you do a normal.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't.
No, I agree. Where I draw the line is I would not feel comfortable doing a leapfrog. We stopped everyone.
I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying.
No, I know.
I'm
just saying. Yeah. No, you asked. Yeah, I would say, to me, it's cheating if you drive by one and you wave at it and you move on. I can see where somebody says that it's, for them it's okay because they're part of a group and they're doing,
and I don't even want to call it cheating. Let's just call it tactics, right? So we're not getting into cheating again.
Kind of tactics.
But it's hard for me to draw a big distinction between a driver that never got out of the car the whole day,
right,
and leapfrogs that everybody got out of the car,
right.
So, we could debate that all day long, and I don't want to debate the ethics of cheating on it. I'm just saying that when we do power trails, we gotta think about that as a total different way of caching.
It is very different.
Going to the park and wandering around and finding a geocache, right?
Right. No, you're exactly right. I was a lot of good comments tonight in the chat room. I like this one. Fun fact: the seatbelt reminder on a Honda Element is 0.5 mile. Find a cache when the reminder comes up. I love that.
I like Mark's. Being driver on the power trail is the best. I like it.
You just sit back and collect the spoils. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So the ethics of a power trail and the etiquette of a power trail are something totally different. But we're just talking about, can they be fun?
Can they be fun? Yes. I think they can be, but you think about it, let me ask you this. Let's say
I already know what you're going to ask, but go ahead.
Let's say you were to show up at that letterbox hybrid power trail by yourself, nobody with you, no Barry. You had no Barry that trip.
I gotta have my Barry on my power trails.
You gotta have your trip. No mega folks. You, not even Christy, just you.
Yeah.
Is it fun?
No, no, not even a chance. I've been out. So one day we were doing a streak, or we're trying to get to a milestone, getting ready for a milestone or something. So I went out one day to an area that had it wouldn't be called a power trail, but it was just an oversaturation out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
And up, down roads and dirt roads and stuff like that.
Yep.
It was so boring. It was terrible. I was by myself. I was like, this is horrible. I don't want to do this at all.
This is not caching.
I've done power trails with Barry, my buddy out in Colorado. I've done power trails with Christy, and even the first power trail, in fact, I think I've talked about before, I did with my oldest daughter, Hallie. That was before we even knew power trails are really a thing. We just saw it was actually a geo art in the shape of a cross, and it was maybe 45 or something like that. And I thought, that's at a time when we had only found 100 caches or something.
Right. You're like, this is awesome.
This is insane. How do they have this many caches in one area?
Yeah.
And we're like, let's just go do one little leg of it.
Right.
We're like, we're done with that leg. It was 12. And we're like, that was crazy.
Go.
And we ended up doing all of them that one day. And we were like, that's insane. Because I think the most we had found in a day before that was 4 or something. And we came home and Christy was like, Did you have fun doing whatever, like, yeah, we found 45, and she was blown away by it.
It's like 45.
Like, that didn't make any sense. You just like doubled our numbers.
Holy cow, yeah.
But doing it by yourself, now some people may like that, the solace of just going out there by themselves and listening to music, taking their time, and or even going fast and doing it. I can't imagine wanting to do it.
B&J Bish mentions
totally different.
Yeah, he's going for a hike. I'm going for a hike.
I would do that without a doubt.
Enjoy the scenery, enjoy the trek. So that's different. That's not what we're talking about. A drive.
Yeah, I'm talking about driving down a dirt road.
We're talking ET highway style.
Going for a hike, because I am who I am, I generally have somebody with me. Because I'm not good at like, that was a reasonable amount. Let's go home now. I'm like, let's just keep going. And then I'm like, hey, I'm 30 miles from anywhere.
Yeah.
So for safety reasons, after a few knowing how I am, I generally do those with somebody too. But I could see doing one of those, just get out on your own and go for a hike. And yeah, for sure.
What's interesting too is something that Jeff brings up. I have done some short stretches solo, but really only for the count.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting is that this Saturday, I'm going to be doing a trail strictly for the count. Because I'm at a point where I want to get, I'm coming up on a 3,000 milestone. So
nice.
I want number 3,000 to be the original stash.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm going up to Oregon here in a few days. And so I need a quick fix of several cache, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I gotta be able to find several in a way. And so, hey, that's a good thing for a power trail, is just to find a bunch in a row, because it fills the need if you're trying to get a big count.
So like an interesting question. What do you think about FTFs on a power trail? Do you claim them for your stats?
That's one of our questions for tonight. That's a very good question.
You want to save it, or do you want to hit it now?
No, let's hit it now. It's a good question.
Before we do that, I think I know this would be a super fast question. This is what I thought you were going to say.
Yep.
Power trails are fun sometimes. We'll get into when those are fun.
They are.
What if that was the only way to cache?
Oh, gosh.
How long would you last?
I love geocaching.
I'd go back to playing chess. I can tell you now. If that was the only caches out there, I would not be excited even in the slightest.
Right. You'd be out.
I do a power trail once a year. I generally do a power run once a year. And that holds me. Every time I do one, I'm like, yeah, this is exciting. We're going to get 500 caches today or something, whatever it is. Some random number. By the end of that, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm done. And I'm like, we're done. I don't want to do this. I'm going to find one tomorrow. I'm not doing this anymore for a while.
No. And that's, So Chronically Tired Mom, which by the way, we have some of her items will be given away tonight as well. So if you're a winner, you get a Chronically Tired Mom, some swag from her. Thank you, Chronically Tired Mom. Get a pic of you weeping for joy. That'll be me. I'll get a photo. I'll post a photo of me doing that. So that's good. Appreciate
so back to the FTF question.
That's very difficult. I would feel. How long is the trail? You want to say 25?
Let's say 100.
100? I'm not doing all 100.
For some reason, you're out there day one as it opens. Boom, it published, and you're right there by the first one. And you have first access to all 100.
I would do some FTFs.
Wow. I'll tell you now, while you're struggling over it, I'd do every single one of them. I don't care. If I get it first, I get it first.
I know,
and
but
I'm
some
not
people
an FTF hound. And as Tony says, it's not an official stat anyway, even though I know some people are really into it.
Some people
I've got FTFs driving through a town that I've never been in before. And knowing they'd probably only have an FTF once a month there. If it pops
ruined
up
that
town,
you ruined that person's FTF. Oh, how dare you?
Like a name they've never seen before coming through their town, like down the highway. Oh, sure. Bloop, I'll go get this.
Memphis Mafia.
Ashley has that thing where that, boop, shows FTF. If I'm driving down the highway and I see one, why not? And you know what's a sad thing? I don't even track them.
I know.
I don't even know. I don't know how many I have. I just do it because it's fun. The only time FTF is fun for me is if I get a notification and I'm in an opportunity to go run out the door and get it.
Yeah, that's true.
The race is fun. Collecting the stats of it, that's not fun for me.
Oh,
but the race, know that I'm competing with somebody, knowing there's probably 5 other people speeding and running stop signs to get there. That's the fun part.
Yes. And you get there at 2 a.m. and somebody else is signed.
You say you'd only get some of them. What would you do? Leave?
It depends on the situation. I've actually done that where it wasn't a power trail, but there were like 8 of these caches that all came out at the same time, and they were pretty much in a line.
Mm-hmm.
It was at work, and so back when I used to drive all clear over to Plano, I did a few, and I went and I called it lunch. That was it. I'm done. I don't want to do all of them because I just felt, but now I think I would just do them all because, like you said, there just isn't. I know.
So you're just giving somebody else some pity is what you're doing.
I am. And that's the thing is I don't
want your pity FTF.
I don't care about FTFs. It's rare to have an FTF in my area at all. I've only found probably 8 or 10 FTFs my whole career. So I don't care, but I do seem to care for others because it is important to others.
Be faster. Be faster if you want that. Look, I tell you what, not only is this, if you were at number 1 and you were going down the FTF trail, I would jump in front of you to get them.
To get it right.
Like you're stopping at 1, I'd go 2 or 3 ahead and get the rest of them. You want to get there, race? Let's go. We're going to race.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. All right.
And then, you know what? I probably wouldn't even write FTF in my log, so I wouldn't care.
You just I don't care.
I would just sign it first just to mess with you.
Right.
I don't even always write FTF when I am FTF. I just think I like the race. That's all I care. That's the race is the one part.
Yeah, I know.
And some people get really into it, and I'm not making fun of that. If that's your thing, man, go for it. Get you a million FTFs. And we looked it up one time. There's some dude with 8 billion FTFs or something. I think he had more FTFs than I have caches. It was something crazy. Right. But it's again all how you play, right?
Yeah. So tonight's we're back. It's not FTFs. We're back on hashtag Power Trails. Power Trails is so if you put in hashtag Power Trails, you'll be entered to win. So let me ask you about another trail Susan and I did. Tell me if you would have enjoyed this particular type of trail. So it was like a standard power trail, 528 feet, pretty much. I think there was a couple times when it wasn't, but for the most part,
right.
528 feet, a whole line, down a couple of these roads. But the thing about them was they were Halloween caches. So
nice.
And this is something they point out too, is that they were very adamant that you did not replace. If you can't find a container, you are not to replace it.
Nice.
You are to email them and they will fix it, but you are not to replace it because
where was this trail?
What's that?
Where was this?
Near Jefferson, Texas. So East Texas. But the way they did it was great because every single container was unique and every single container was Halloween themed. So this person went to a lot of trouble to find either it was different sizes, which was cool.
Yeah.
Some of them were a bat, and the bat was, had a bison up its behind.
Yeah.
Or it was they had found a plastic coffin, and they, when you open up, there was pretty good swag in it. So
nice.
Different sizes. They had ammo can painted up, Halloween themed.
Yeah.
They had they had the really tiny little Frankenstein, that was like a test tube kind of thing, or not test tube, but it was a container that wasn't very big, but again, all Halloween themed.
Nice.
You like that?
I would love that. So One of my
Very
favorite
cool.
things is, besides like, there's a lot of over the top creative caches out there, right?
Yeah.
But like simple decorations like that, a theme decoration for a cache, I think those are great. It's just so much better than a regular container. There's nothing wrong with regular containers, right? Because most caches out there are.
Right.
You go and you find a bison or you find an ammo can or whatever. I'm happy every time I find any of them, of course. Right. But when you go and find a regular green ammo can versus when you go and find a theme painted ammo can, it's not even close. Or even like, and I think we minimize it a lot, but like where they take the bat and they stick the bison up as, you know what?
Yeah.
To me, that's just one level of creativity above that. I'm throwing a favorite point on that every time.
Yeah.
All they had to do was just throw a bison tube out there and not care. But when you do a little bit and it makes you chuckle or whatever, when you lift up a lamp skirt and they've got something funny under there instead of just a pill bottle, to me, you put into effort to that. You cared about that. And I would almost not even call the one you're talking about a power trail, because I don't, and I'm not saying this is the hard and fast rule, right?
It kind of was.
To me, a power trail is basically innocuous, one after another, the exact same thing. Everything's the same. It's intentionally boring, so you're flying through it. To me, that one, I would have taken the time to take pictures and enjoy every one of the couches. And to me, that's almost, I don't want to sound this as a negative thing, but that's almost too nice to be a power trail.
It kind of was.
Power trails are supposed to be like blah and go. Sign, swap, go, whatever.
Yeah. They called it a trail series.
There you go. Yeah. I would agree with that. Not a power trail, but a trail or a run, that kind of stuff.
Halloween trail series. And they, and like you said, there was the photos are great. It's in the chat. It's in the show notes. You can check it out. But they, and some of them were tough to find. So they weren't, depending on where
definitely a trail more than a power trail.
It was more of just a trail series, like you said, and it was because there was a couple times where it lent itself to being tougher, because there's parts of it that were like, okay, it's just on the, it's along this road, and then to the side of the road, it was easy to pull over, which was nice. I always appreciate that.
That is very nice.
Some of them you could see the container. It was like almost ET highway kind of thing.
Right.
But others were not. Others took a little bit of time. So yeah, I agree. That's more of a trail series. And we've talked about, we probably need to take a moment. Let's talk about ET highway for those that don't know.
Yeah.
ET highway is out in Nevada.
Yep.
And we're thinking it's up over 4,000
in the metro area of the power trail, right? Not the original, but in the metro area of that. Yeah. Around 4,000 ish.
Metro is kind of a bad way to put it, because you're out in the middle of nowhere, but
yeah. I mean, the power trail metro anyway.
The power trail, but yeah.
And that's a totally different one. Now, there's other caches other trails I've seen like this, but this is one of the biggest ones that everybody has heard of.
Right. I mean, you don't have to, but I think pretty much everybody who goes to do these, you're going to bring containers, which is normally a taboo.
It's designed to be swapped out, though.
It's
by the owners of it. It's designed that way.
Right. It's designed for that, which is funny because we would normally not think that's really the kosher thing to do, but it's designed, and if for speed purposes, you have to have some ready to go, because you can't hardly get one. You can't hardly get a pill bottle open, the paper out. Even if you have a stamp it, put it back in. By that time, you're the driver is 520 feet down, and he needs somebody to get out of the car and go for it, which helps if you have multiple people, right? So you kind of want to do that as a group.
I'm trying to do the numbers here. So I've heard of people doing 1,000 in a day.
1,000's pretty tricky, just because.
Which means if they were doing 24 hours, which I hope they're not, or maybe that counts a 24-hour day, but that's 41 an hour.
Which sounds impossible, but yet, there's no baggies.
But I think they're literally
no
barely
baggies
stopping, right? they're driving and they can see the next one as they drive off, right? 528, they see it before they ever stop. One person runs like 15 feet, throws one down and grabs the other one, and that's the whole 20 seconds of that cache.
You could almost just slow down and somebody get out of the car and
yeah.
So Jeff says he managed 900 with 3 others in one car.
So there you go, right there.
Sun up, sun down.
That's an insane. A lot of people haven't even gotten 900 caches before they quit.
Right.
That's one day.
But can be done, like you said. And that's interesting though, because of the nature of that.
Right.
Geocache says they found 400 in a day. I mean, that's an insane amount.
That's an insane amount.
It's designed for that. Beats Ninja go bringing up something we're going to talk about in a minute, so that's good. It's interesting. Yeah, ET Highway is the place to do it. You can do that.
Yeah, it's out in the middle of nowhere. It's just, it's perfect design for it.
It is.
Everybody knows what you're doing when you do that. You go ahead of time with the team. It's hopefully a once in a lifetime deal for you.
Well, I mean,
people have done it more than once because they archived it one time and redid everything.
Yeah,
people have done it more than once.
I can't see myself doing that more than once.
No. I'll absolutely do it once though. I do want to do it at some point.
Yeah, we definitely.
And I want to spend several days out there and get a bunch or whatever.
Yes, absolutely.
Much like the Fizzy, though, I would never want to do it in the beginning of my geocaching career because you're going to blow through all your milestones. Like if you come out there and find 3,000 or 4,000 caches and you're under 4,000 caches to start, you're going to blow through a bunch of milestones that you probably would want to savor. You're not going to have them. Right? You're going to boom. Oh, I got 1,000 and 2,000 a day. Look at that. Now, after you've hit a number of caches, after you've hit 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 or whatever, it makes total sense. Yeah. You want to not know when you hit your 5,000th cache? I don't know. You might or might not, right? So,
and you don't want it to be on the ET Highway.
No, because you won't even know which one it was.
No, you won't know. I mean, if you did, it's like
376 that day. You don't know.
They're all the same. Yeah.
Right.
All right. So, Pizza Ninja brought up. Let me ask you about.
Yes.
Let's change gears since we're starting to run out of time tonight. Would you consider the Lincoln Highway, which is it's an adventure lab power trail? It goes all the way across the country. You could do.
It is. But it's definitely not every 528 feet.
No.
And not you can't. So we were talking about this before the show, and I've been struggling with this. It's a trail. And its entirety, the numbers are huge.
Yeah, you could.
However,
you literally could drive from east to west coast.
I actually have some labs on this trail, right? So I got to be part of that one and the Tamiami Trail here in Florida. Yeah. However, on both of my sets, and I know several people's sets, it was actual locations they were hiding them at, not just like every 528 feet. So some of them maybe 3 miles apart, Yeah. But it's down the same stretch of road, but it's not like a park. Get it part, it's not like
it's more interesting.
I don't know that I would consider it a power trail. It's a huge amount of caches, but it's not designed to like you're not now. If it was designed to you don't get out of your car and you just hit them and go, yes, that's a power trail.
Yeah,
but you're not going to run through those like an ET Highway. You're not going to get 5,000 in a day. 1,000 in a day.
No,
I know mine cover a several mile stretch for just 10 caches.
Right.
So it's not like every 528 feet. So I don't know that. I'm not saying you couldn't do an Adventure Lab power trail. My opinion is, according to what we've said so far today, I would have to say that doesn't fall into the category because it's not tons fast. It's tons.
It is, but not fast.
It's kind of a straight line, but it's not tons fast. So, and each one is actually unique in terms of a lab cache. Like it's a location that's special to that area.
Yeah, it's designed to be more interesting than just ET Highway number 308.
Now,
hey, do you remember ET Highway number 308? No.
Maybe would be the one we did in Kansas.
Yeah.
Although that was barely a trail. It was a trail, but you could get, 100 of them?
Yeah.
50 or something like that?
I think you still can. I mean, they're all out there.
You didn't have to go super far to do them.
No, and they were pretty easy.
Made for that mega. You could get like 50. It was in like a square around the event.
Yeah.
I would say that qualified a little more as a power trail because you could drive down the road and not get out of your car for most of them, I think, right?
No, and just answer questions. Yeah. Just answer trivia. It's just trivia questions. Yeah. Now, it was fun, though. I enjoyed those. Could you
make a power trail just straight down the street where you never had to get out of your car of lab caches?
Oh, sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Would it be fun? It would be numbers.
It'd be numbers. Yeah. And it could be fun with a bunch of people. Yeah, so
get a bunch of people together. There have been some power trails of hard caches. So to me, in my definition of power trail, it's easy to find caches. Speed is the only thing you're going for. Now, are there trails of hard caches? Absolutely. And those are awesome. Yep. But I wouldn't define those as power trails because I think the power part of it is you're powering through and finding tons of caches super fast.
Right.
Generally not unique. Like number 17 in the power trail generally doesn't get any favorite points. Number 1 or the last one do sometimes. Yeah. It's like a thanks to the owner. But generally along the way in the middle of a power trail, you don't get a lot of those favorite points.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's a good point. Well,
so before we give it away, I think we need to wrap that part of it real quick, or you want to give away first?
No, let's which part do you want to we got to do the we're going to do the vault
we're going to do the vault and the giveaway still.
Yeah.
Let's do those first then we can wrap up,
Yeah, then we'll wrap it up. So all right, so let's do a little vault here. What do you say? So tonight's clue is part of one of the keys. A quaint little city as I stroll along. It's very wet today. I can see this area would be very busy in nicer weather. However, today it's nearly empty. That's, golly, they put the blue on the red. That's open with, holy cow.
There's open water again. I wonder
there's open water again. Yeah, there's open water again. I wonder how cold it is. If only I could remember more. Somebody mentioned too, they're not this one, but they're like, can you do this in black and white? It's like, I see why they say that because it's a little bit hard.
It's hard to read with the colors like that.
There you go. There's the clue for the vault key. Whichever one we're currently on. Sorry. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but there you go. The vault is going to be at Cache Fest Memphis. And if you bring a key, 16, thank you. So if you bring your key to Cache Fest Memphis and you turn the lock on the key, on the lock, put your key in the lock and it turns it, then you win the prizes in there. If it doesn't turn it, then you still get a prize.
Yeah.
So we'll have prizes for those folks as well too. So speaking of prizes,
let's give away one.
We're going to give one away. So last chance for everybody, put in your hashtag Power Trails into the chat room. You'll have to do it once because it only records your entry.
You can do it as many times as you want, but only one counts. So
yeah, it's only going to take your first one. So, so there you go. And we're going to spin us a wheel. So let me pull the wheel up and let's get that going. Again, we have a lot of good info in the show notes. So that is a possibility that you might want to check into later. Wet Coaster. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you being along.
Will this clue be in the show notes? The most recent clue for 16.
It will be in the Facebook group.
So not in the show notes, but they have to go to the Facebook group.
Go to the Facebook group.
Okay.
So all three of these we need to fix. So needs to be hashtag Power Trails, all one
All one
word
word.
with an S. So Joanne, need to redo yours. It's Power Trails, all one word. And Wet Coaster, if you could plural that for me, my friend, put in Power Trails with an S. So I try to make sure and be kind of careful with those because they need to be.
While they're fixing those, this is a good question. Is there a general area that those keys are hidden in?
Thank you. Is there a general? They're currently
the US,
they've been in,
mostly, but not always.
So far, they've been in a couple countries, but
yeah,
all
in different states so far, right?
Well, we've had a couple duplicates. Oregon and Oklahoma had a couple duplicates.
Oh, okay. We had two
for the most part, we've
mostly in different
like
states all over the country.
11 states so far. More to come, obviously. More countries to come. So stay tuned for that. So you never know where a key, or in this case, even a virtual key, might show up. So you never know. I mean, that's a possibility right there.
Oh no, Gary just spilled the beans.
Sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's our game. We can make up the rules, right?
Yes, right. So but yeah, we're going to do some virtual. We are going to do some virtual keys just to give people like Darren down under. We'll give some Australia, New Zealand folks and other parts of the world a chance because we really have an international group for that. So if you find the virtual key, then by proxy, we will turn the actual key for you in Memphis. If you can't,
I think they need to show up. We're gonna need them to show up.
Yeah, fly them in.
Just come on in. All
right, good deal. We can do that too. All right, hashtag Paratrails. Everything ready to go? I think. Very cool.
Go for the spin.
Let's spin it up. Here we go. Yeah, kitty catch. Sorry, got distracted. Yeah, she would. She's down in Australia at the moment, I think. All right, here we go. Here's the drawing. I'm hitting the button. There's all the names. It's spinning. It's spinning. It's spinning. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? Seebeck Tribe. Way to go, Lori. So Lori is our winner tonight.
Congratulations, Lori.
So,
and how will she claim
her
prize,
Lori,
Gary?
send me she will send us an email to, if I can find it, geocachetalk@gmail.com.
And tell you which prize she wanted, right?
And tell me which one she wants. Yes.
There we go.
So there you go. She knows how to. I don't know why I don't know why I deleted that. It should not have been deleted. geocachetalk@gmail.com. What's funny too is she knows. But creates for other people. geocachetalk@gmail.com.
There you go.
Send us your suggestions there as well. If you have a suggestion for a deep dive show that we could do in the future. Actually, I'll be seeing Lori in a couple weeks because I'm going up to the Pacific Northwest. So
that'd be a good trip.
I just bring it to you, Lori, because I'll be up there. So
there you go.
That'll be cool. Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be fun going up there. Doing I did.
Yeah, you spelled it Lori. He said it spelled Neil Moore. So
I see what happened. Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, he's funny.
Right, so congratulations, Lori. Now, Gary, you have to answer the question.
Okay.
Are power trails fun?
My answer is yes, with an asterisk.
Okay, yes, with an asterisk.
Yes, depending on the situation, I would say yes. So even if you put my feet to the fire and said you can't put an asterisk, I'm going to say yes. So what say you?
I think I've always had the same opinion on this, and again, I probably do one power trail a year.
Right.
Although I've done more in some years, and I do one power trip every year at least, right? Whether that's an actual power trail or not.
Yeah.
And I do that for the same reason that I do power trails. We get generally the same group together and we go for like a really tough few days of caching. And a lot of the times now on the trips, we find individual special ones. But on a power trail, when we do something like that, it's purely for the numbers. And we're seeing how far we can push ourselves in a certain amount of time. And each individual cache is not great and nothing generally memorable about that. But the time we get to spend with the group of friends together, kind of pushing ourselves a little bit and doing something totally different, that's a blast.
Yeah.
Individually, no. As a whole experience, yes, a lot of fun. Would I want to now? Am I a power cacher, and do I want to have 800,000 finds?
Right.
Not even a little bit. Right.
No, me neither.
But am I glad that power trails exist? Yes, because it's fun, and it is fun to be able to get out there and push yourself real quick and go. Yeah, we found 200 caches today, and that was a cool thing. And we might not find 200 for the next 3 months, but that was fun to get out there and do that day. If that was the only style of geocaching, I would never have been interested in this game.
I agree.
One more different aspect, I love that. Right? I love that you can be in the game. You've been in the game longer than me, but I've been in the game over a decade, and I can do something totally different now than I did 2 years ago, and be into something totally different and play a totally different way, and do something else. There may be a time, it hasn't been yet, but there may be a time where I just want to go out and do a bunch of power trails and see how many caches I can get in 1 year, right? Can I get 10,000 caches this year? It doesn't sound like it's fun to me now, but the fact that that's a possibility to me is always fun. Or like you're doing, you got a milestone coming up and you don't want to miss something really special. You want to line it up for the trip. It's cool that you can get out there and go find 30 or 40 caches in a day and, kind of manipulate the numbers to where you can have that cool special milestone. If I was to be asked, should we get rid of power trails? Heck no. Do we need more power trails? No, probably not. But there's a bunch of them out there. I think it's a fun, small piece, but a fun aspect to the game. And I kind of tie GeoArts into the same thing, right? And we haven't had a discussion on those. I know we will coming up, but
we will.
The crossover of those is it's fun to have a different small niche thing you can do within a game that we've played for you've played it for more than a dozen years.
06. I started in 06.
Yeah, that's a long time. You old bastard. That's crazy.
I know I am.
But I think it's I think it's an equally important part of the game, just like everything else. And some people will, April challenge from the Wheel of Challenges from HQ is to find up to 100 caches in April to get points. That's a power trail. You can do that on a Saturday, right?
Exactly.
I think it's an equally important, just like every other little aspect, I think it's an equally important part of the game. A lot of people love them. Some people will never do one in their whole life.
Right.
Good. If it's not for you, don't do it. But for the numbers aspect, it's kind of fun to do.
Yeah, I think that I completely agree. As we wrap up, I suggest if you're in the camp that says I will never do one ever, be open to it. Be open to it because, and the reason I say that is because there are a few people that are listening that have never been to a mega,
right,
and have never done it with a group. And my comment would be, come to a mega. Somebody will, if there's typically megas will have, a lot of times will have a power trail nearby.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get invited. I mean, you're going to get invited to do these, and they're a lot of fun with a group. They really lend themselves to a party. They're a party waiting to happen. Let's put that way.
Not only that, I think it ties into our general theme of everything we say. Go out there and try at least once everything in the game. Everything in geocaching, try it once. And somebody mentioned Zinga Man said him and his wife, they prefer the more physically challenging. Me too.
Yeah.
I'm sure I said that name wrong, but I am 100% on board with him, right? Like a power trail will never, for me, compare to hiking a mountain. Never.
Right. Never.
Just with the whole experience. However, I want to do the hiking. I want to do the scuba. I want to do the kayaking. I want to do the power trail. I want to do that way thing. What do they call it? Way something.
Way marks.
Yeah, way marks. I want to do all that stuff, right? Maybe we can talk about that coming up. Who knows? We'll see. But I want to do, if there's something in geocaching that I haven't heard of yet, please tell me because I want to go try it, right? The first time I hear about something new, I'm like, oh, I want to try that.
Let's go try it.
I may go, that's the last time I'm ever doing that. But with the game that we play this much, why would you not want to try every single thing once? I'd tell everybody. Now, again, with the caveat like the Fizzy, don't do it in your first 100, 200, 500 caches. Probably not till you've hit 1,000. If you're going to do a big one, right? If you're going to do like a 25, 50, 100, no big deal. But if you're going to do like one of those 400 or 500 power trails, don't do that for your first 1,000 caches.
No.
Milestones that you really, for your first 1,000, every 100 is a cool milestone.
It is.
And even up to maybe a couple thousand. After 2,000, there's really not anything but 5 and 10 after that. But don't blow through a milestone by accident. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
So do a power trail, but don't do one that blows through a milestone without you knowing it.
Right. Yeah. Do mini power trails if you're below 1,000, but don't go do one of the big ones.
Yeah.
Save it for a future. So anyway, all right. That's it. Very good. We'll see everybody. So Sunday we've got Challenge Talk. So definitely join the Challenge Talk crew, and they're going to have a great show Sunday, and then we will see everybody for Puzzle Talk next week, and then also back here for another show on Deep Dive. So we will see everybody next week or Sunday.
Thanks for tuning in.
Good night, everybody.
All right.